and welcome back to From the Cauldron, a podcast of all things magical. I'm your host, Nancy, and this episode is breaking out from my lineup since it's a very magical time of the year, Samhain, the witch's new year and the time of year where the veil is thinnest. So welcome to my Samhain Special. So Samhain is one of our 8 Sabbats. The word Samhain means summer's end. It dates back to ancient European practices where they considered it the marking of a new year because the sun was at its lowest point in the sky. This Sabbat originated as a fire festival with rituals, feasts, and gathering of family and friends, and also to honor the dead. Not much has changed in its roots since then. I know many people think that Halloween and Samhain are the same thing. While they are overlapped in history and dates, they are 2 completely different things. During the time when the church overtook witchcraft and its practitioners tried to bury it in the ground, you will notice that the religious groups took from our Sabbat dates and turned them into religious occurrences. Halloween originates from when the church changed Samhain into Michaelmas. That day was created for members of the church to worship Saint Michael. It was then later changed to Eve of All Saints, or some would call it All Hallows Eve, which in turn named October 31st All Saints Day. Now, Samhain still hung on throughout all of that, just lying in wait to come forth again. Traditions that went along with the Sabbat were still being used in homes. Moving forward to modern eras, and here comes Halloween. Halloween is a celebration on October 31st. It is not Samhain, although the pagan traditions are still used to celebrate this holiday. Halloween is a mainstream holiday that corporations ended up grabbing a hold of to sell costumes, candy, make horror movies. But by the way, some of those horror movies give witches such a bad name, but that's a discussion for another day. Pretty much corporate greed, so children can run around and grab candy off doorsteps. But these companies have taken their ideas from ancient traditions. So let's start off with trick-or-treating. Kids go to the doorstep, they say trick-or-treat, and they either get a trick, a treat, or both. This modern custom ties directly to ancient traditions. Back when the Celtic pagans would celebrate this night, it was custom to light a fire in their hearths and lay out a plate of food or other offerings for their loved ones who have passed away. It was to be believed that on this night, their family members and friends would stop by during the night to sit by the fire and enjoy their offerings. Now, they also believed that if someone did not set out an offering that night and a spirit came by, the spirit would be offended and bad luck would fall upon the house. Basically, if they did not set out the treat, they would be tricked. Not only is trick-or-treating associated to past traditions, but so is pumpkin carving and wearing costumes. In ancient traditions, people would carve faces out of turnips and put them on their doorsteps. It was lit on the inside with a piece of burning coal. These turnips were meant to invite their loved ones who have passed on into their home, but also used to ward off malicious spirits wanting to cause harm on that night. Now, families will go pumpkin picking and carve them out to make jack-o'-lanterns that adorn the front homes everywhere as a decoration. Costumes were also a tradition that was associated with this Sabbat. During the fire festivals, people would sacrifice animals and turn their skins into costumes. Then they would sit around telling stories and drinking while observing the fire. These hides were also used in 2 other ways. People would wear the animal skins to try and not be noticed by the spirits for better channeling for divination that night. Also, they would wear these costumes as to hide themselves from the spirits. The veil between the living and dead was so thin that an incredible number of spirits would be wandering on our plane. Not all spirits are friendly, so the animal skin served as a great camouflage. In this day and age, children and adults alike will dress up in costumes on Halloween, but for much more different reasons. Kids will dress in their favorite cartoon characters or their favorite mythical creatures, and adults would dress up to go to parties, to win money for contests, or for some to be able to wear something that is completely inappropriate on any other day of this year. While Halloween is fun and it has ties to ancient practices for this Sabbath, it is still not Samhain. Samhain has made an incredible comeback since the days of trying to eradicate our personal spiritual days up until now. It is widely celebrated, not just in the US, which is where I'm from, but from all over the world. Other countries still recognize and actively participate in the fire festival, activities in honor of their ancient ancestors, but the US has a different turn on things. During this time of the year, witches gather from all walks. It is a time to commune and reflect back on the last year. It is a time to honor our ancestors who have passed and to celebrate their life. Many people have dumb suppers or meals with the dead. We leave out offerings for loved ones while we eat. Divination practices are amped up because the veil is so thin. Even non-believers look to us during this time to find solace with a loved one or just for fun and games because they don't really believe. But this time of year is sacred to us. Yes, we dress up, we do the mainstream fun and games, but we also honor our loved ones, work spells, use divination, and connect with brothers and sisters on the ultimate path to start our new year right. Witches gather to balls in open circles, and it rejuvenates us and reminds us why we're here and what we're here for. Samhain is alive and well, even with this pandemic, and I'm glad for that because it's definitely a special event. This year, Samhain falls on a blue moon. The harvest moon was pushed back from September, landing on October 1st. It actually landed on my birthday, so that was a great personal experience for me. But the last time a blue moon on Samhain occurred was 1944, which is 75 years. This is definitely a rare event and one great for working. Not only do you have added powers of the moon, but the veil is at its thinnest at the same time. This is not a time to miss spell work or divination on this night. I will definitely be trying to contact my ancestors past, leaving out a moon water jar, for this is one of the occasions that you can't miss, and reworking my path for the beginning of the witch's year. It is the time to call for prosperity, for good luck, good health, and any other positive aspect you need coming towards you right now, and for the full year cycle. It's also great for past life workings, inner workings for protection spells, and for creativity spells. It is also good for crossings and unhexings or return to sender spells. If you don't understand the process of a full moon, the fact that it is full means it's meant for positivity. So any work that would have a positive outcome for you or for others, if that is who you're casting for, then this is the best time to work on those spells. If you aren't familiar with everything associated with this Sabbat, then here's a full review of information on correspondences and ways to celebrate. Samhain, like every other Sabbat, has specific correspondences or items relating to this day. Correspondences would be symbols, goddesses, gods, colors, foods, and other categories in which you would use to decorate your home, eat, or use in your practices. I'm not going to go on and list all the correspondences on this podcast for you. So I posted a page on my Facebook if you'd like to see what items, deities, and other categories coincide with helping you celebrate this special day. I'm also going to create a separate video of just correspondences if you would like to listen. But not only are there correspondences, but activities you can do with yourself, or if you have a group that will honor this day. You can figure out so many things to do on Samhain. Nature walks are amazing. You can get in tune with the earth and reground yourself for your work on that night. You can also visit cemeteries and honor all of those who have passed. You don't have to leave anything. You can just talk to them and recognize these people. Or if you want to, you can leave an offering. I know many people leave pennies, or they'll bring special food. I've left M&Ms for people as offerings before. Pretty much anything you think that a spirit would appreciate. Cooking a nice fall dinner for your family is also a great option. There are numerous spices and herbs that all correspond to Samhain. If you're a new witch, reach out to online communities and start working with other people on the same path. Gathering of like minds are amazing around this time since it is the beginning of a yearly cycle. If you are confident enough in your working, you could also invoke the goddess and the god to help you honor the dead and continue in your work for the year ahead. If you also don't practice following the goddess and the god in your spell work or in your path, you could just, honor whatever deity you follow or whatever form of higher power you follow. Fire magic is also a great form of practice for this time. Since it is fire festival season, you can use fire for spell workings or as pyromancy, which is a form of divination in which you focus on the fire to see images and you can decipher what it's trying to tell you. You can also make an altar for your ancestors. That's also a great way to remember them and honor them. Or you can do nothing and just hit pause. Use it as a time of reflection of what happened in your past year and figure out what your steps are for the new year and what you want to keep with you and what you want to cut out in your life. If nothing else, you can spend the day as a kid and carve pumpkins, trick or treat, wear costumes, and watch horror movies. I know I've done that throughout the whole month. My kids won't let me get away with it. But it all ties back to our ancient ancestral roots. The main part of Samhain is honoring those who have passed, remembering them, and giving thanks to the higher beings of the passing of the seasons. So that is my little Samhain special, and I appreciate you coming in to listen to what I had to say. And that page will be up for correspondences if anybody has any questions on what you need to do or what you need to use for this Sabbat. You can also reach out to me through Facebook and start a conversation. And I just wanted to say thank you for listening in on the wonderful Sabbat we call Samhain. I hope you've learned something new for tonight or just enjoyed listening to it. Please remember to subscribe to my channel to get new updates on fresh episodes that release. And follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/FromTheCauldron18 for notifications, news, updates, and communicating with the circle. Until next time, at From the Cauldron.